Got my eyes straight ahead, got my head in the game. With the red light on, I'm just waiting for the change. Keep my head down low.
Okay, Jay Fallon, and thanks for listening to the Slippery Slope. So there was just a couple of things I wanted to go over. One of them was because of due to a comment from a listener on YouTube, and I just wanted to go through that a little more. And I was going to also talk about the upcoming social media ban for under 16s, which is beginning on, I believe, the 10th of December. So that's coming up fairly quickly, whether everyone's ready for that or not. But it's going to be, well, it's going to be interesting to say the least, I suppose. But getting back to what there was a comment coming in from, I believe the listener was Coco Jeffrey. Yeah, so this from the user Coco Jeffrey 8502 says police state incoming problem reaction solution. First one, disarm citizens. Second, import drugs and crime. Third point was citizen victims beg government to solve it. I think I said something similar to this quite a while ago because it seemed to me that government agencies, when I was looking at the way police agencies around the country were behaving with how they were treating police officers with experience, and then the lowering of standards around the nation. It seemed to me that they were causing some problems, causing issues. And then people were crying out saying, "Hey, we need to fix this," and then they're coming along and saying, "Well, we've got the answer. Golly gee, we've got the answer." But the problem is, they were they were overlooking the fact that that actually caused the problem in the first place. It's something similar. So we've had what's obviously happened in WA, and they've decided they're going to go and check people out and decide these people going by what something they've said on social media. Well, they're obviously their ideologies, their beliefs align to what they call a sovereign citizen. So then that gives them the right to take firearms off them if they've got firearms. The funny thing is, I remember thinking about this when I was in the police, specifically when I was in general duties. I was thinking just because of a few things that happened in there, I thought, isn't it funny? We like to go and check out all these people who tell us that they have firearms, and there's plenty of them out there, and they've got them legally, but the criminals never seem to have problems getting their hands on guns. There is no lack of firearms in the Australian community. No lack. And I can't tell you how many. It seemed like at least once a week when I was in general duties and you get notices on your normal emails that there'd be some notice coming over saying, "Oh, there was a robbery, there was a break in at such and such place, and they broke into the gun safe and stole the guns." They always seem to know where the guns were, who had a gun safe, who had guns. It always seemed a bit strange to me, but it's always, yeah, okay. We keep an eye on these people who register their firearms, and we'll go out and take the firearms off them. Criminals who are the real actual, in my mind, they're the actual sovereign citizens because they're the ones that think the law doesn't really it doesn't has got nothing to do with them. They're above the law and they can do what they want. They're the actual sovereign citizen of this nation, the ones who consider themselves anyway. But they never have a problem getting their hands on firearms. There are plenty of firearms out there. But yeah, that is, I agree, that is what I think is happening. They're disarming the citizens. They're importing drugs and crime. They're importing problems. That's why we've got so many issues, especially down in Victoria. You've got all these gang problems with disenchanted youth. There was another comment that I wanted to address, and that came from Selwyn 500. It says, locking up kids, treating them as inmates isn't the answer. What's needed is a place where they can be treated humanely and get strong discipline, self-esteem, educated, and turned into good citizens. I The issue that I see happening is it shouldn't be up to the government or up to Australian society to turn them into good citizens. That's the job of the parents. And if the parents aren't doing the job, uh, well, then this is what I think. This is why I think they need to reconsider whether they actually belong in Australia. The second thing is it costs something. And the reason why you have young people like this chap who just goes out there and breaks laws, doesn't consider the bail conditions, doesn't care about bail conditions, breaks into houses, home invasion, steal cars, does whatever he wants, is because he doesn't, and he's never had to pay the cost. He's never had to pay a cost. It doesn't cost him anything. And the quickest way to make someone learn and understand something quickly is to discipline and to make something cost when they realize that it's going to cost them personally. And when they pay a cost, then you can come across, then people suddenly realize or suddenly learn that, hey, I can't just keep this behavior. I'm all for young Australian kids being raised up, being educated, being obviously treated humanely, educated and helping mold good citizens. I don't like using that term, good citizens. Anyway, help mold good people who live in society in a manner that's benefiting everyone. But when you've got people who've come in here and they don't respect the law, they don't respect Australians, they don't respect other people because it's never cost them anything. Their parents, their family members, they don't respect or they don't help discipline, they don't help control because it doesn't cost them anything. No one's had to pay the cost. And this is why I think things need to get a little harsher. They need to be a lot tougher, and visas need to be revoked. So after that, I just wanted to talk about this upcoming social media ban. I think, as what Coco Jeffrey was alluding to, I think this is just going to be something that's bringing us into something else. I think there's going to be a crisis coming, some kind of crisis, some kind of catastrophe, disaster that's on the near horizon, and then the government's going to come out and say, well, hey, because this for your safety, we're going to bring this in. We're going to extend these laws, just like what the British government have said. Well, it's so that we can help control illegal immigration. I mean, as someone pointed out, the amount of money they're spending bringing in this digital identification, they would only have to spend a small percentage of that money in actually controlling their borders properly. They would save a ton of money and they would control the borders and prevent illegal immigration anyway. But it's just the excuse that they use. So I think there's something else that's going to be coming up and they're going to have this excuse that they want to use. But let's check out this article here from the Sydney Morning Herald. It says, no playbook, e-safety boss backs social media ban despite expert warnings. It's interesting. So this is the world first social media ban for under 16s against, so this is coming against mounting criticism, insisting the e-safety commissioner, Julie Inman Grant, she's just a lovely lady, insisting that the technology to implement it exists despite expert warnings that privacy protections are inadequate and age verification systems are deeply flawed. Australia doesn't have a good track record when it comes to implementing new technology. We have a pretty pathetic track record, actually. So, yeah, I don't have any trust, any faith that she's going to be able to implement this without a plethora of problems, issues. Julie Inman Grant told the Senate estimates hearing late on Wednesday night that 6 major platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, and Snapchat, would be age restricted from December 10, dismissing concerns about the visibility of age assurance technology with the deadlines just 62 days away. It's all good, she says. It's all good. I got it under control. She cited preliminary findings from a government commissioned trial, which tested more than 50 age verification technologies, stating there are no significant technological barriers to implementing the ban. The government has argued that the ban is necessary to protect children. I tell you, like I've said a dozen, hundred, I don't know how many times I've said it. When a government agency, bureaucrats start talking about, hey, we're just doing this for your protection. This is for your safety. It's for your benefit. You know very well that it's not, and that they're about to just clap you over the side of the head with something else. So they're saying they're doing it to protect the children. It's not their job to protect the children, it's a parent's job. The job belongs to the family, the parents, the family unit. The problem is we have systematically dismantled the family unit over the past, what, 30, 40, 50 years maybe. We've encouraged the Australian government, extreme feminism has encouraged the dismantling of the family unit. We don't want families that practice, Judeo-Christian principles. We don't want family units that would fall in line with what Judeo-Christian principles would align to. We don't want fathers who stand up and take responsibility for children. We tell them, oh, you can just sire, plant your seed wherever you want, have as many kids as you want. You're going to have to pay for them, but if you can't pay for them, well, the government's going to pay anyway. And ladies, if you want to have kids, if you want to have how many kids with how many blokes, we're just going to pay you a heap of money. You won't have to work while all those kids are young. It's all going to be a dandy life. No one has to take responsibility. Again, no one has to count the cost because someone else is there to foot the bill. The government has placed themselves as God. Reject God, forget God. We are God. We're the ones that are going to look after you. So they are just there. This is what they're saying to protect from cyberbullying, harmful body image content, exposure to misogynistic material. It's all been linked to mental health harms. They bring in this kind of excuse because, they think, well, who can argue with that? We're protecting the children. But some privacy experts and academics have seized on the same trial results to argue the opposite. That the ban is unworkable, exposes millions of Australians to unprecedented surveillance risks. We've consulted more than 160 organisations and 345 individuals. Inman Grant, a former Twitter executive, told the committee on Wednesday night. Some platforms agree with our assessments, others may challenge it. Okay, she goes on to say, we want to make sure that this is done in a way that respects all of those rights so that we're not cutting off their digital lifelines. I call lie on all that. Particularly those who may come from disadvantaged communities or may feel more themselves online than they do in the real world. Okay, so like I said, this is what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to see in the very, very near future. I think we're going to see a crisis of some sort coming in the very near future. We've got the new AFP commissioner. She's just been brought in. She said, "Oh, we've got all these new hate speech laws that were rushed through. What was it last year? So all these new hate speech laws, they may have to be strengthened." She said, "We may have to, really bolster them up a bit." It's going to be good. So you got the new hate speech laws that they want to strengthen. You got this new social media ban for under 16, so everyone will have to show their digital ID or have to, prove who they are. Well, I think what I predict, I shouldn't say predict, what I think may happen, just going by what you see has happened in the near history, is that we'll have some kind of crisis occur, and they'll say, "Oh, look, well, we've already got these, hate vilification, hate laws in place. We've already got this digital law, digital identification law in place, where you have to show your ID, prove that you're, above this age, but that's not enough. So we're going to have to strengthen these again. We're going to have to bring in something more. I think we'll end up going down the line of what the UK has brought in with their digital ID, and they'll use some other excuse, whether it's for immigration or whether we have some kind of crisis or some kind of episode where something happens with one of these protests and say, well, we really need to monitor these people and what they're doing. We have a better monitoring system, so we need everyone to sign up. We're going to extend our hate speech laws. We're going to extend our digital identification verification laws, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to bring all this in, and everyone will have to sign up for digital identification. And then pretty soon it'll be, oh, by the way, if you want to go to the bank and get out your own money, you thought it was tough before and you couldn't get out 20 grand, well, you want to withdraw $10 or what's the minimum you draw from an ATM? $20 or whatever it is. Well, you're going to have to prove your identity. All banks are going to have to prove through facial identity before you're allowed to get it out, this kind of thing. That's where I think we're heading. I think we're going to go down the road, see another crisis, boom. They're going to bring in something. It'll just come in like a wrecking ball, like a flood. And I think that's why they've brought all this stuff in at the same time. We've got this new AFP commissioner. She's got all these bright ideas. She's listening to her talk. She's laser focused. That's why I'm laser focused, because we've got these new hate speech laws. She says we might have to tighten them up. We might have to strengthen them. So, mate, again, it's all for our safety, our protection. We're concerned about the people. We're for the people. So I think that's where we're going. And like Coco Jeffrey had said, they've basically causing a problem, causing issues, importing drugs, importing crime. And then they'll turn around and say, hey, but look at this. We've got this new shiny thing we've got up here, all this new legislation. We're not really using it full strength. Let's really amp things up. It's all for your safety, all for your peace, all for social cohesion. That new AFP commissioner, she loved using that phrase, social cohesion. That's the new little shiny bling word at the moment, term at the moment. It's all about social cohesion with all these ladies who are in charge of everything. Anyway, that's just my opinion of what's going on. I think we're heading towards a very rocky road, and it's coming up quickly, in my opinion. Anyway, please check out my music. Give me a like and share if you've listened this far. Thank you very much. My name is Jay Fallon. Throw me a comment. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. My name is Jay Fallon. Thanks for listening to the Slippery Slope.
They just fuel a desire that will take me higher. I'm on fire because nothing's gonna bring me down. Nothing's gonna